Welcome to Jazz Guitar Lessons, where we help guitarists learn jazz faster, express themselves more fluently, and have fun along the way. My name is Mark, and if you're looking to learn jazz, form better practice habits, and especially if you enjoy a French accent, make sure to subscribe. Mark here for another micro podcast on jazzguitarlessons.net. So this is one, of course, keep it short. People prefer it. And this one on jazz is cerebral, quote unquote. Oh my God, I have to stop saying this to myself. It's going to haunt me. I have nightmares about jazz is cerebral now. Okay, so we're not trying to get people that are saying that jazz is too intellectual and it's just not fun to listen to be right. We're not giving them this permission to be right about that. However, here's the thing. We have to consider that in order to get to a level where your jazz becomes emotional, we have to go through technical mastery of like something that it's so easy. It facilitates your emotions to come out, right? So that's where we want to go, and that's why I call this podcast Jazz is Cerebral. Because once Bill Evans was asked about this and said, is jazz too intellectual? It's too brainy, right? It's all you use your brain. Is like, well, my heart is directly connected to the piano. I don't know what he answered. I'm just paraphrasing. But all I'm saying is, well, if you hear Bill Evans play and sometimes you want to cry because it's too good, well, it means that there was this technical proficiency that allowed such players to have their emotions go through. So my advice to you, well, this is not a lessons podcast. It's not even an advice podcast. It's just talk. So I think personally, just talking, like once you can connect so deep with a piece of music, with your instrument, with chord changes, with other players, with the audience members, once you can connect and play stuff and connect emotionally, then jazz is not cerebral anymore. It stays cerebral in the sense that if you want to connect with your instruments, with chord changes, with songs, with other musicians, with audience members, if you want to connect like that in a style that is purely always improvised, then it takes more mileage. See what I mean? If you play 3-chord rock and it's really deep and it's really good and you connect emotionally, that's fine. I have nothing against it. I still listen to a lot of rock music, pop music, but my point being, it takes a level of expertise to bring jazz to that emotional realm. And it's just an opinion I have. It's just perspective right now for you. So think about that. It means that you're playing the chess of music, is what I often say to my students. You're playing, like, chess is like the highest, purest form of game there is. Running is the purest form of activity. I mean, track, racing, running against another human being, like just running, 100-meter dash. It's a purest form of athletics, I think. It's not a sport like hockey or football. Let's look at in sciences, mathematics or maybe physics are the purest form of their art. Well, I think the music, the classical music and the jazz music require such a high level of proficiency to be emotional. That's why people just label it and say, oh, jazz is too cerebral. I can't get into that. I can't listen to that shit. Well, guess what? Listen to Miles Davis sometimes. It's really, really deep. It's heart-wrenching. Listen to Kind of Blue. Listen to other tracks. Listen to this My Funny Valentine live at the Philharmonic, like mid-60s. It's crazy how much emotion there is. So guess what? We just have to transcend the intellectual part of it, the cerebral part of it. And this is your task. You have to work your ass off, learn all the scales and arpeggios until you don't have to think of this in terms of scales and arpeggios, but you just have to think about it in terms of expressing yourself, which is, in fact, my challenge to you guys and purely, say, my challenge to myself at the same time. All right. So that's all I have to say for this podcast. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe or share this with friends. Once again, my name is Mark from jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Take care.